What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Dylan back here for another video, and today is part 2 of the 3-part series going over the primetime NFL schedule for 2018. Last week I went over the Thursday night football schedule. Today I'm looking over the Sunday night football schedule, and next week I'll be looking over the final part, which is the Monday night football schedule. I know a lot of people enjoyed the first part, so I thank you guys for watching that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sunday night football looks really good. Last year I was very excited for it, and it kind of disappointed. I feel like Monday Night Football gave us the best of the 3 prime times last year, which was surprising to me. But Sunday Night Football looks absolutely loaded this year. They said, we know the problems from last year. We're going to change it up and give the best teams the most prime time games, because there were a couple of teams that honestly didn't really deserve to be on Sunday Night Football, and I think they changed that for this year because they want to compete. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think this is going to be a really good list, and I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get going. At number 16, I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Week 16. This is my last place game, and some people are going to be like, well, how is this a last place game? These are two pretty good teams from the last couple of years, and you're right. But I think both of them are going to take a step down, and I don't know if this game is going to mean as much as it should be. Kansas City Chiefs, they're starting Patrick Mahomes this year. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in the league, but in his first season, I don't know how he's going to take this team and make it better than Alex Smith. I want to see some good production, but I see this more as a development year, kind of like Mitchell Trubisky year 1, with just a little bit more of a given chance for him, more than Mitchell Trubisky in year 1. And for the Seattle Seahawks, I think they're going to take a significant nosedive. I think they're going to lose a couple more games than they did last year, and they were barely 9-7 last year. They lost a lot of talent, so the overall game quality might not be as good as it had been maybe a year or two ago. So I still think these teams are going to put on maybe a decent matchup, but Week 16 it might not matter because they might not be in contention for the playoffs. So that's why I have them here in last place. At number 15, I have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Week 13. Yeah, sorry, Seahawks fans. You got 2 of the worst games here on Sunday Night Football. San Francisco, they've got a lot of hype coming into this season. They look like they're going to be a lot better than years past. Jimmy G came in there in the last couple of games of the season and absolutely dominated. He got his first touchdown as a 49er against the Seahawks, funny enough. And for the Seahawks, again, I just don't think this team is going to stack up very well. I think it could be an interesting matchup here, and maybe if the 49ers are looking to make the playoffs, Seattle's going to try to take them out with a big loss towards the end of the season. So this could be an interesting game here, but I feel like the 49ers have a little bit more going for them at this point in the season than the Seahawks will, and I don't know how much of a game this is going to be. Plus, I don't think Seattle has a whole lot of talent at the receiver position, which is something I want to see in a big Sunday Night Football matchup. So not the best game for me here. I think the Seahawks are probably going to be the worst team we see on Sunday Night Football this season. I'm sorry to say that, Seahawks fans. Number 15, 49ers versus Seahawks. At number 14, I have the Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers in Week 1. I actually wanted to put this game a little bit higher on the list, but considering how many great games there are left to talk about, I just couldn't put it higher than 14, which is a shame because I think the Bears are going to make this game a lot better than in years past. The Bears obviously built a team around Mitchell Trubisky, their franchise quarterback it seems like, and gave him the tools necessary to try to win games for this team. New head coach Matt Nagy, I think that's going to be a big positive influence for this team. And the Packers, of course, we know what they can do. Aaron Rodgers and that. I think it's going to be a good matchup. The Bears are trying to make themselves a lot better than they have been in the last couple of seasons. And with the acquisitions and just the overall change in the offseason for them, I think that's going to be possible, and I am very excited to watch what the Bears deliver to us, especially in Week 1, opening week. We get to see this team for the very first time, try to do their stuff, and in the NFL's most storied rivalry, I believe, I feel like this is going to be another good chapter in that, a redefining chapter. So number 14, Bears-Packers. At number 13, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Oakland Raiders in Week 14. I actually don't really know what to expect out of this matchup at this point in the season. The Steelers, around this time, always focus on the Patriots, which is funny to me, and always, they're trying to solidify their spot in the playoffs and whether or not they're going to get the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed. all that stuff going on. Oakland, I feel like, is going to be fighting for that playoff spot. Of course, John Gruden's coming in, new change, new feel to the organization. He wants to bring the old school style of football back. Spider 2-wide banana, which I find really funny. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Again, two teams in the AFC. If you go back way back in the day, a great rivalry in itself. But here in 2018, I think things have changed. I think it could be a good game, though. If Derek Carr is having a really good season like I'm predicting him to have, this could be a good matchup. Pittsburgh, I feel like they're going to use Le'Veon Bell in this game to try to expose Oakland's defense, which might be very fun to watch. And I just think the chemistry between these two teams is going to show off here. And it's kind of low, but again, a lot of great games to come in here. So give credit where it's due. Steelers-Raiders, I think it's going to be a good game. At number 12, we have the New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Week 2. If you guys saw my Sunday Night Football video for last year, you know that I put this game a lot higher on my list. And the reason why it's so much lower here is because the New York Giants did terrible last year. And that has to take some kind of stock in this video. The Giants, they're going to come back. They're trying to come back from a 3-13 season. They did absolutely atrocious. Saquon Barkley, I think, is going to be a big X factor for this team. Really make this team stand out and do something for them, give some kind of spark, considering Eli just keeps getting older and older. For the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott is probably going to play the full season, which is good for them. They really need him to be a big offensive weapon. The receiver core is one of the worst in the entire NFL, so that's not good for them. But I think this could be another high-octane offensive matchup that we usually see on Sunday Night Football between these two. They always provide a pretty interesting matchup every year with new players and new schemes and stuff like that. And it's always a good rivalry game on Sunday Night Football to watch. So check this one out. Always going to be very good. Just had to put it lower on the list. At number 11, we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New England Patriots in Week 6. This was the first Sunday Night Football game of last season. It was on Thursday night, but it was the first Sunday Night Football presentation. You know what I mean. Kansas City absolutely dominated the Patriots. They scored 42 points. The Patriots couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed. It was insane. I don't think this game is going to be quite as good as that one, nor do I think as many points are going to be scored, but it's going to be interesting. Of course, like I said with Kansas City early on in this video, I don't really know what they're going to bring to the table with Patrick Mahomes being the QB this season. It could be very interesting to see how they fare against the dominant Patriots team. The Patriots, the morale has gone down a little bit, of course, after their loss in Super Bowl 52, but it's going to be interesting to see how they try to bounce back from that. They always kind of get off to slow starts, so are they going to get off fast and have a really good start to the season, or are they going to try to start picking it up here? Is Tom Brady going to be able to lead this team to success? I think it's going to be an interesting game just based on how these two teams are faring coming into 2018. So I like this matchup, and I had to put it here at number 11 because I like the chemistry between these two teams. So Chiefs, Patriots, number 11. At number 10, we have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 4. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup here because we have two teams that are in the same division and they're really duking it out, and we love seeing these kind of competitive battles between them. And right here, very early on in the season, it could really showcase who the better team is in the division. Yes, I know it's the Steelers, but maybe the Ravens can give them a run for their money. The Ravens, of course, they got Lamar Jackson in the draft. Absolutely tremendous draft pick right there. And they actually got some goddamn receiver talent. So that's congratulations to them. I haven't seen that in like 10 years for them. Let's see if they can do something on offense for them. And maybe Lamar Jackson gets to play with this 2 QB system, which will be interesting. The Steelers, we know what they bring to the table. Bell, Brown, Big Ben. It should be interesting to see how the Ravens defense is going to have to try to stop that. They weren't able to do that last year in their Sunday Night Football matchup. So that's interesting. These two teams, they always give a really good battle, especially on primetime football. We always love seeing these two duke it out, and it's one of my favorite rivalries of the last 10 years or so. So at number 10, I got Ravens and Steelers. At number 9, we have the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Houston Texans in Week 5. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. You got the quarterback battle here. Dak Prescott coming off a really lackluster sophomore year. We'll see how he comes in here in his 3rd season. And Deshaun Watson, who absolutely brought it when he came to his rookie year. Let's see if he can continue that. I know he had the big ACL injury. That kind of sucks. But year 2, I think he's going to be great. His receivers look like they absolutely love having him throw the ball, especially DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller. Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's going to be in top form coming into this game. the receivers. Of course, the Texans have the advantage on that, but I think the defense is going to be a big part in this game as well. Great defense for the Texans. They got hurt in 2017, so we'll see if they can do anything here this season. And the Cowboys' defensive line is going to be awesome this year. So we'll see how these two match up. I think there's a lot to like about both teams, and I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle here between two young teams. So at number 9, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. At number 8, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, this is the last time you'll see them on this list. Versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10. Again, another really good rivalry game on Sunday Night Football. Last year, it was not a very good game. The first half was close, but the Eagles just tore the Cowboys apart in the second half. This time around, everybody's going to be healthy, it looks like. You know, the Cowboys are going to have Zeke in this game. I think it's just one of those games that you like to see on a big-time stage like Sunday Night Football. It's one of those big-time rivalry games that has a lot of impact. Of course, the Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions. The Cowboys might be the second-best team in the NFC East, so they're trying to get maybe a wild card spot or really try to show to the defending NFC East champions that they got something on terms of trying to be the champions of the division. It's going to be a really good game, of course. These teams always showcase their talents here, and I think a lot of talent is on both of these teams. So I think it's going to be a good matchup. Always love to see it here in primetime NFL football. So at number 8, we got the Cowboys and the Eagles. At number 7, I have the New England Patriots taking on the Detroit Lions in Week 3. Do you like this? Do you like this photo? I think it's a great photo. The Detroit Lions, they're coming in here with new head coach Matt Patricia, obviously former defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, now taking on his former employer for the first time as now the head coach of the Lions. I think he's going to bring some good things to the table. The defense for the Detroit Lions over the last couple of seasons has been very interesting, to say the least. I think Darius Slay, obviously, Darius Big Play Slay, has been the best thing for them, and now I think they're going to get better with Matt Patricia as the head coach. The offense, of course, is still very good. You got my boy, Matthew Stafford, Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, some good stuff to look forward to on the offensive side. And are they going to bring it to the Patriots, who, of course, the Patriots are coming in here with a lot of hype and a lot of interest, because we don't exactly know what we're going to see out of this team. Is the Patriots of 2018 going to be the same as the Patriots of old? So it's going to be interesting. Is it a changing of the guard, or the Lions, the new kind of team? All that stuff. A lot of storylines coming into this game, which is why it's here at number 7. At number 6, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the San Francisco 49ers in Week 7. And oh my, have things have changed. In Week 3 of last season, there was that Thursday Night Football matchup. We thought this was going to be absolutely garbage. And it turned out to be a 41-39 contest with the Rams winning. Absolutely fantastic. And now I actually want to see this matchup. The Rams, of course, the number 1 offense of 2017. They're coming in here with some really good stuff and a lot of great acquisitions. Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, and Brandon Cooks, just to name a few. And I think this team's going to get even better in the second year of Sean McVay's head coaching tenure. For the 49ers, of course, Jimmy G came in here last couple of games of last season and proved why he could be a starting quarterback or a really, really talented QB, and is going to give some kind of spark to the 49ers team that they haven't had in a couple of seasons. I haven't wanted to see this matchup in a long time, but now that these two teams are doing really, really well and are going to provide us with some really good offensive matchups, I think this is going to be a good game here. So at number 6, I got the Rams and the 49ers. At number 5, we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings in Week 12. Yes, this is another divisional matchup, but it is the highest ranked divisional matchup on Sunday Night Football for me. So why is that? Well, I mean, look at the two teams we have here. We have the Green Bay Packers, which with Aaron Rodgers obviously makes them a threat in the NFC and is obviously going to be a team that's worth looking at. And we have the Minnesota Vikings, who were in the NFC Championship game last year. They have a fantastic defense. And oh yeah, they got a new quarterback by the name of Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you know that or anything, but I think he's going to be pretty good for this team. Of course, the receiver duo of Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, absolutely tremendous. They're going to show out in this game. Like I said before, the defense for the Vikings is amazing. Green Bay, they got some pieces on defense this year, which is insane for them. It's good for them. They needed it. They got new piece Jimmy Graham on the offense. Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb. Let's see if they can step up without Jordy Nelson being there with them. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a contest here in Week 12 that might decide the division and see who's the stronger team this time this year. So, at number 5, Packers-Vikings. At number 4, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 11. These two teams faced off twice last year, in Week 5 of the regular season and in the AFC divisional round. In Week 5, Big Ben threw 5 interceptions, and the team looked like it was in turmoil, but they turned it around. And then in the divisional round, they said, oh, we're going to face the Patriots in the AFC Championship game because we don't care about our opponents, and they got embarrassed. It was hilarious. That being said, that's going to bring in another key storyline to this game. This is the first time they're going to play since that big game where the Steelers going to take these Jaguars team seriously. They should, because the Jaguars almost went to the Super Bowl. The defense of the Jaguars, absolutely fantastic last year. Guys like Jalen Ramsey, AJ Bouye, Calais Campbell, Ngakwe, fantastic defensive team there, and they've got some key playmakers on offense like Leonard Fournette, who was a beast last season for them. I expect him to continue to have a big run this season. For the Steelers, of course, they got big offensive players. It's going to be a fun matchup. I like these two teams being at the top of the AFC, so Steelers-Jags. At number 3, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Minnesota Vikings in Week 8. Another matchup between two teams that faced off twice last season. In Week 1 of 2017 with much different results. The Saints team didn't look like they were themselves, and the Minnesota Vikings had Sam Bradford as QB. And in the NFC divisional round where the Minnesota Miracle happened. I already talked about the Vikings. We know what they're going to bring to the table. Offense was tremendous. They're bringing in Kirk Cousins, and the defense is absolutely spectacular. They're also bringing in Sheldon Richardson on the defense, so that's good for them. For the Saints, I mean, look at the offense. It's absolutely amazing. You got Michael Thomas, who's near top 5 receiver. You've got Drew Brees, who's an amazing QB. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, dominated the run game last year. And their defense, surprisingly very underrated compared to how bad they were the last couple of seasons before that. So another great matchup. They played a fantastic game in the playoffs last year with the Minnesota Miracle happening. Let's see if the Saints can get revenge. Big time, primetime NFL game where everybody's going to see how good these two teams are. I love it. So at number 3, Saints and Vikings. At number 2, we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the New England Patriots in Week 9. Now, why is this one number 2? Have you looked at the photo? It's Rodgers and Brady, baby. Rodgers versus Brady, the two best quarterbacks in the game going head to head. The NFL viewer, the casual NFL viewer that's not cheering for their own team, wants to see big-time matchups in primetime football. That's what Thursday Night Football tries to deliver. That's what Sunday Night Football tries to deliver. Monday Night Football tries to deliver. But Sunday Night Football got it. They got the matchup everybody wants to see. The two best QBs in the game, Rodgers and Brady. Everybody's going to love it. I think it's going to be awesome. The offenses, I think, are going to show out in this game. And funny enough, Brady has not thrown 300 yards against the Packers in a game, which is the only team, besides the Patriots, of course, that he hasn't done that to, which is very interesting to me. So let's see if he can do that in this game. And let's see if Rodgers can go back and forth with Brady here. It's going to be awesome. I love seeing this big-time game here, big-time feel to this game in the middle of the season. So, number 2, Packers-Patriots. And at number 1, we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Los Angeles Rams in Week 15. This was an amazing game last season. 43-35. Carson Wentz did tear his ACL in that game, but the Eagles still found a way to win that game and go on to win the Super Bowl. I mean, it was back and forth. The offense was amazing. The defense was terrible. But in terms of high-octane offense, you couldn't ask for much more than that game last season. Now we're here. Eagles have won the Super Bowl. Los Angeles had the number 1 offense, and it's Week 15. This could decide who's the number 1 seed in the NFC. You gotta love that. You gotta love when there's big-time implications on the line in primetime NFL games. And this one seems like it has all the tools necessary for that. Eagles coming in here with the big-time offense, and we'll see how the defense comes in and hopefully tries to step up from their game last season against the Rams. The Rams, again, new pieces to the table on both offense and defense. And again, just seeing these two be at the top of their game in the NFC, maybe taking the number 1 seed here in this matchup, awesome to watch. So number 1, Eagles and Rams. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, part 2 of my 3-part series talking about the primetime NFL schedule. If you did enjoy, smash that like button. Comment below, did you enjoy the list? Did you like the rankings of this list? If you didn't, tell me which games you would have higher and which games you would have lower. And comment below what your favorite Sunday Night Football matchup is in this list. Subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL content. Me and Mitch have recorded, I guess Mitch and I, that's better English. Mitch and I have recorded 2 videos that's going to be split into 3 different parts each, talking about the best running back and receiver cores in the NFL. So that was a lot of fun to make, back and forth between us two. And I'm going to also be making part 3 of my series here, the final part, talking about the Monday Night Football schedule. That'll be coming out shortly. So stay tuned for more NFL content on the Bottom Line View. For Dylan, peace out.